Hi guys, it's Arielle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today is part 4 of my weight loss and health journey, which covers weeks 10 to 13. If you haven't already seen them, I highly recommend that you go back and watch part 1, which is weeks 1 to 3, part 2, which is weeks 4 to 6, and part 3, which is weeks 7 to 9. And the reason that I say this is because the way that I'm going about my weight loss and health now is very different from when I started. So I think in order to understand the whole journey, it's important to have the full picture. So I will leave the links to those parts down below. Another thing that I want to quickly mention is that I am going to finish this series on my main channel because that's where I started it. But going forward, any of the more personal or health related content is going to be on my second channel, which is Get the Margarita. So I'll leave everything linked down below for you guys. And before we get into it, I do just want to give you a recap of the first 1 to 9 weeks. I started this journey at 177 pounds with a BMI of 24.5, a body age of 29, and a body fat percentage of 26.8. By the end of week 3, I was down to 167.9 pounds, a body age of 28, a BMI of 23.3, and a body fat percentage of 24.9. By the end of week 6, I was down to 163.5 pounds, a body age of 27, a BMI of 22.6, and a body fat percentage of 23.9. By the end of week 9, I was down to 159.6 pounds, a body age of 27, a BMI of 22.1, and a body fat percentage of 23.1. Here's what all 4 weigh-ins looked like so you can have a visual representation of what losing a total of 17.4 pounds looks like over the course of 9 weeks. I'm very excited to show you guys where I ended up at the end of week 13, but let's start by backing it up to week 10. Welcome to my week 10. One of the very first things I did was a grocery shop to stock up on healthy snacks like chopped veg, strawberries, and tuna salad. Having these prepped and in the fridge really helps me make the healthier choice when I'm craving a snack. For breakfast, I had lots of oats, as you guys know. I did my apple baked oat recipe as well as my overnight tiramisu oats, which is my absolute favorite. And on a couple days, I had toast with butter and honey, cottage cheese, which is also a staple in my diet, and fruit. Some of my lunches included making a sandwich on a cottage cheese flatbread plus some cottage cheese chips and fruit. You can take a shot every time I say cottage cheese. We also had a cute little balcony lunch date where we ate pesto pasta salad, which we made from pasta, cherry tomatoes, arugula, cured ham, and feta cheese. And we had this with some white wine, watermelon, and blueberries. Another salad I prepared was a delicious Greek salad, which is made with red and green peppers, cucumber, red onion, black olives, cherry tomatoes, chickpeas, and feta with a vinaigrette. And some days I also had this with chicken nuggets, tuna salad, or chopped veggies. For dinner, we had the yummy stuffed and breaded eggplant, which is just sliced eggplant that I stuff with mozzarella, tomato, and basil, coated in breadcrumbs, and fried in avocado oil. We also ate the chickpea salad for dinner a few times, and on one night we were feeling a little bit lazy, so we just had pasta with some chopped carrots and cucumber. Snacks this week included a lot of fruit. I had watermelon, and a lot of it because watermelon is my absolute favorite fruit, blueberries, mango, quite a few times as well, and I also made dark chocolate covered strawberries for me, and I added a little bit of sugar in for Jean because he hates dark chocolate, and then I also had some apricots and bananas. And for the more unhealthy snacks, I had quite a bit of black licorice and a few mini caramels. I bought some of these caramels to send back home to my best friend, so of course Jean and I had to sample them. And I also made some mini oatmeal raisin cookies because I was really craving something sweet by the end of the week. And when it comes to my diet this week, I do just want to quickly mention that by week 10, I was definitely very fatigued with weighing and logging every single thing I ate into the MyFitnessPal app. Up until this point, I really was very consistent. Like, I definitely logged 100% of my diet into the app, but by week 10, I probably only logged about 70% of what I was eating, and I definitely felt comfortable doing this because by week 10, I had become very familiar with what a healthy portion size looks like. Like, after weighing 150 grams of Greek yogurt 90 times, you know what it looks like, and you need to rely a little bit less on the scale. And not only do you know what it looks like, but you know what macros are in the foods you're eating. And so I definitely feel like I didn't have to use MyFitnessPal as a crutch as much as I did in the first 9 weeks because I had built up my knowledge of what was in the foods I was eating and what portion size I should be eating. When it comes to workouts this week, I did my usual 2 ab and arm workouts, 2 basketball workouts, and 2 boxing workouts. I also really tried to stay on top of my walking this week as well. I'm trying to get back into doing my 10,000 steps a day minimum. I feel like I haven't been consistent with that for probably 2 weeks now. So we're kicking it off today, and I just finished for the evening at 12,000 steps. So hopefully I can keep it up for the rest of the week. When it comes to my workouts, I do just want to quickly mention that they were really hard this week. And I think it's important to be transparent about this. Just because this week specifically, I was on my period and I noticed that I had a serious decrease in energy and in my strength. And the reason I think that I'm noticing this now as opposed to like years prior is that I'm very consistently working out. And so I can recognize differences in my body week over week, especially when the differences are as huge as this. And not only did I feel like I had less energy and less strength, but I also felt really bloated. And all of this combined was incredibly discouraging because one morning you wake up and you feel like you've gained an entire size overnight. And not just that, but you go to do your workouts and you're lifting half of the weights you normally can. You can barely get through the workout because you don't have enough energy. And it's all very confusing and very discouraging. And I just want to share this with you guys because if there are any other women who are on their own weight loss journey at the moment and they do feel this way during their period, I just want to share that I think it's normal and just a very natural part of being a woman and something that we should take into consideration when we are trying to lose weight, that there are weeks where, you know, we're not going to feel as on top of our game, and that's okay. Oh my gosh, get me out of this week. I'm so happy to be at week 10 weigh-in so that I can move on with my life. The bloating and the fatigue sent my body on a roller coaster this week, and I'm just very excited to be getting off that roller coaster. So as a reminder, we weighed in at 159.6 last week. Let's see where we're at today. $159.1. Okay, so I'm down 0.5 pounds from last week, which is honestly more surprising than anything else because truly, while I was doing my workouts, I felt so tired and so weak that it almost gave the impression that I wasn't doing anything for my body, if that makes sense. And yeah, the bloating was like to a whole other level. It was crazy to feel like my body had actually increased a full size. It was just such a bizarre feeling for me last week. I'll also quickly add that my BMI dropped from 22.1 to 22, and my body fat percentage dropped as well from 23.1 to 22.9. But yeah, 0.5 is great. I'm definitely excited to get into week 11. Welcome to my week 11. I feel like I don't even need to say it at this point, but 95% of my breakfasts were oats, of course. I did the tiramisu overnight oat and then a baked peach oat. One morning as well, I had coffee and honey on toast, and then on the weekend, I also had a croissant and half a banana. I don't know what it is about Saturday morning, but it feels like the perfect time to enjoy a hot croissant with your coffee. We started this week out with lunch at a restaurant where I had fish for my entree, steak for my main, and then a strawberry dessert. I was testing a new bistro for my itineraries, and so for the sake of science, I had to try their 3-course menu. Jean was on fire this week and made me some really good lunches, including my absolute favorite chicken salad made with lettuce, peppers, tomato, and chicken, as well as a really yummy shrimp crunch wrap made with rice paper, shrimp, avocado, and cucumber. Jean is kind of tagging along on this whole health and weight loss journey, and it's been really fun to see his cooking skills improve. Before I started this health journey, his go-to dish to make was a quiche or a puff pastry tart made with honey and goat cheese. 2 delicious dishes, but not very high in vegetables or nutrients. And now to see him make fresher meals, more balanced meals with more vegetables and greens and colors, it's really cool. And I'm very proud of him, but also really grateful to have such a supportive partner as well. Other days for lunch, I just made myself mixed plates of fried eggs, toast, fruits, veggies, and cordon bleus. A cordon bleu, by the way, is chicken, ham, and cheese covered in breadcrumbs. And this one that you see specifically is pretty low in calories. It's only about 200 calories, which is very surprising for how delicious it is. For dinner, we had Greek food a few times, plus Jean's chicken salad and another new salad that he started making, which is so addictive. It's this cucumber, green onion, and peanut Asian style salad. And one thing that I want to mention about my dinners is that sometimes you see me eat smaller portions for dinner, like when I had this cucumber salad with just a couple crackers and cream cheese, or another night when I had half of a cottage cheese flatbread sandwich. And that's because some days when I have basketball, I leave for practice at 6 and I'm not home and showered until 10 p.m. And so I really just don't want to eat a giant meal right before I go to bed. But on days where I know that I'll have a later practice where I won't be able to eat a regular sized dinner portion, then throughout the day, I'll eat a larger lunch as well as a bunch of different snacks. And speaking of snacks, my snacks this week included toasted soybeans, mango, rice crackers, Baby Bell cheese, popcorn, oatmeal raisin cookies, cantaloupe, watermelon, apricots, quinoa crackers with cream cheese, and potatoes and eggplant with tzatziki. I also went out for sparkling water with David, Jean, Alex after basketball, and I also tried to make these real fruit gummies with agar agar, which were very gross. The texture was not good at all, and I definitely do not recommend. I think I'll try again in the future with gelatin maybe and see if that works better. I was super active this week. The weather was so nice, so I ended up biking everywhere instead of taking the metro. And I did my 2 boxing and Muay Thai classes as per usual. I only did 1 arm and ab workout because I used most of my other days for basketball. Some nights I just went with Jean to play some 1v1 or to work on our shooting. Other days I had practice with my team. And then during one of my lunch breaks this week, I also went to play basketball with David and some of his colleagues, which was really nice. I was also very consistent with my walking and getting my 10,000 daily steps in. So overall, it was a pretty active week. Good morning, you guys. Welcome to week 11 weigh-in. I have to say, I feel like week 10 and 11 have been pretty similar in that I feel like I'm settling into this new lifestyle where it doesn't feel like a fitness journey anymore. It just feels like my normal life. I think I feel like I'm living with intuition as opposed to constantly being focused on counting calories, making sure I'm exercising, making sure I'm eating right and all that. And there was a moment that it kind of clicked for me last week. When Jean came home, he bought a sandwich, a brownie, and a drink at the boulangerie for lunch. And he was like, "Oh, do you want my brownie?" And I didn't even think about it. I was just like, no, I don't feel like sugar. I'm okay, thanks. And old me would have been like, yes, give me the whole thing right now. I would have been feral for that brownie. But I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't feel like sugar, so I didn't want it. And then later on in the afternoon, I did want a sweet treat. So instead of devouring the whole brownie, I just cut myself a little piece that was enough to satisfy what I was craving. And then I moved on. And it's hard to explain if you've never felt like you've been addicted to sugar. But truly, if this had happened to me a year ago, the brownie would have been gone in 1 second and I would have gone down to buy another one. So yeah, I feel like this week I'm just really living life with my own intuitions. I'm definitely counting calories less. And yeah, and so I think that that's going to translate to less, losing weight less fast. But I'm okay with that. I feel like last week I weighed in at 159.1. So I don't know. I feel just very happy with the pace I'm going and with how I'm feeling for sure, and also, of course, how I'm looking. But yeah, let's weigh in for week 11. Wow, I'm surprised. 158. I'll also quickly add that my BMI dropped from 22 to 21.9, and my body fat percentage dropped as well from 22.9 to 22.8. Okay, so I've lost 1.1 pounds week over week, and I think the reason that this really surprises me is because there was definitely a fear that if I stopped counting calories, if I stopped looking at my health and fitness journey with a microscope, then I would stop seeing results. But I actually feel like what today's weigh-in shows is that I've learned so much over the past 10, 11 weeks that I just intuitively know what my body needs. And I think that's exactly what I wanted to come out of this health and weight loss journey. Like, I obviously wanted to lose weight, but a really big part of it was living a healthier, happier life. And it's just, I think there's always a fear when you take away those crutches. For me, the crutch was MyFitnessPal and really being able to track everything I'm eating. And now that I'm doing that less, now that I'm really relying on my intuition, I feel powerful. I don't know. I really feel like I've achieved the purpose of this whole journey in being able to naturally live better, if that makes sense. I don't want to get too mushy, but yeah, I'm really excited. I'm happy with the way everything is going, and I'm excited for week 12. Welcome to my week 12. We started the week in Paris and I kept my usual routine. I prepped some chopped veg and some melon wrapped in cured ham for ready to go snacks. For breakfast, I had my tiramisu overnight oat, and then one morning I had eggs, toast, peanut butter, cottage cheese, fruit, and coffee. Lunches and dinners were a mix of whatever was in the fridge, so veggies like cucumber, carrots, peppers, and broccoli, cordon bleus, fruits like watermelon and cantaloupe, as well as Jean's cucumber salad, and yes, those are ketchup hearts from Jean to me. Snacks at the start of this week were not healthy. I had a bowl of chips and then a different type of chips that you dip in goat cheese, a chocolate wafer cookie, and my favorite bakery treat to ever exist, which is this white chocolate and fig sweetbread plus a cappuccino. And then one afternoon, I went out for an iced chocolate with David, Alex, and Jean. For exercise, I did one boxing class and I had one basketball game plus lots of walking on the walking pad. Then we left Paris to go to Fura for my birthday, and I literally threw everything diet and exercise related out the window for the rest of this week. Once we got to Fura, we started with a birthday dinner. Jean took me to this beautiful restaurant overlooking the ocean, and I ate this entire seafood boat all by myself because Jean actually hates seafood. And then for the rest of my week for breakfast, I had the classic French breakfast, which is toast or brioche with butter and jam. And I'm not complaining because Jean's mom made the best homemade strawberry jam. It was heavenly. Most days I tried to throw a bit of cottage cheese on my plate for protein as well, which I actually brought from Paris because cottage cheese in general is really hard to find in France. Never mind a small coastal town. And then I also added in some fruits that we got at the market, like watermelon and strawberries. One morning as well, we had a little North American style breakfast with bacon and eggs. Now, if you've been following this series since day one, these breakfasts will seem a little bit different to you because I'm pretty regular with eating my oats or eggs for breakfast. And it was tough because I really did love Jean's mom's jam. Like, it tasted so good. However, I don't generally opt for toast and jam for breakfast because it's not the most nutritious thing to eat first thing in the morning, and it's also not a meal that's going to leave me feeling full or energized for the rest of my day. So yeah, this one was a challenge to leave my oats and Greek yogurt behind for an entire week. Our lunches and dinners involved a lot of barbecuing, which was awesome. It's my favorite part of summer and something that I really miss in Paris. We did chicken and veggie kebabs, steak, potatoes, and green beans, sausage with carrot and potato fries, fish and veggies. And something to note about eating in France is that typically you start all your meals with some type of entree, and some of our entrees included grated carrot salad, cured meat, and melon. We also had a picnic on the beach one day where we ate sandwiches and fruit. And I was so in love with the seafood restaurant that Jean took me to for my birthday that we actually went back for another seafood boat and some of these fried acras. And then we also went out for dinner with Jean's parents. Jean and I split a sweet potato and cured duck entree. And then for my main, I had slow cooked ribs with rice and cabbage salad. And then we also had a birthday cake to celebrate Jean's dad's birthday. Snacks this week included a lot of fruit like cherries, strawberries, peaches, and watermelon. We had some beers and quite a bit of caramel and peanut butter ice cream, some cheese, and then we also made a cheesecake carrot cake for Jean's dad's birthday, and the recipe actually was enough to make 2 cakes, so we saved one for Jean's dad's actual birthday, and then we ate the other one throughout the week. And there were also a couple snacks that I completely forgot to record, and so these snacks were a bag of chips, quite a lot of milk chocolates, and peanut butter stuffed pretzels. So good. Physical activity this week was very limited. We did do a little bit of biking and walking around town, but Fouras is quite small, so walking to the beach, for example, is like 15 minutes max. It's really not like Paris where you have what feels like an endless amount of streets and parks to walk through. We also did some lower intensity activities like pétanque on the beach, bowling, and also mini golf in the pouring rain. And the weather for the most part was really not great in Fouras. We did have a lot of rain and a lot of windy days. So I think that's another reason why we felt a little bit more lazy than usual this week. However, by the 5th day, my body felt so terrible. And so even though I hate running, like I absolutely hate running, we did go for 2 runs. And I actually tracked these runs so you can see just how little we actually ran. I'm really not joking when I say that I avoid running at all costs. And this is always the hardest part for me when I leave Paris, is that I can't take my basketball team with me. I can't take my boxing class with me. I don't have a portable walking pad. And as you guys have seen, I really am someone who is very, very active. And so to go from being hyperactive to almost no physical activity for an entire week is like a very shocking change, if even just mentally. It really is very hard for me. I have like FOMO because I'm not with my team, and I also feel pretty terrible because I'm not moving my body enough. And on that note, like on the physical side, because I definitely do feel very anxious mentally when I don't get physical exercise in, but I did notice that my ankles actually were quite a bit swollen during this week, which I'm going to attribute to the fact that I was walking a lot less. But I want to circle back to tracking my run because you guys are probably thinking, how did she do that? And I did that with my brand new, very beautiful Garmin fitness watch. Jean and my parents teamed up to get me it for my birthday, and it was so sweet, so thoughtful, because I've been wanting one for quite some time now. And I want to use it for a couple more weeks before I give you guys like a full review and share all of my thoughts on how useful and helpful this watch is for someone on a health or weight loss journey. But I will say that there are already a couple things that I'm really loving about this watch. I love that you can use their GPS function without having your phone on you. I think for a lot of the Apple Watch models, you have to have your phone, and it's like kind of annoying if you're going for a run or a walk or a bike ride and you don't want to carry your phone with you. And it's also fun to be able to see the map of the route that you've taken on your run or your bike or your walk. I also really like that it counts your calories and it separates them in active calories and resting calories. So you can also see exactly how many calories you burn with a workout. I also love that it counts your steps to a T. Before I had this watch, I was using my iPhone. And the thing is, if you're not carrying your iPhone 24/7, it's not like a realistic picture of how many steps you're actually taking in a day. So I love that. And I also really love that it tracks your sleep. This is one of the main features that I wanted because I really want to improve the quality of my sleep. So I like that it tells you how long you're sleeping for, your deep sleep, your light sleep. I don't know. I think that's very interesting and helpful if you want to improve that. So far I'm loving the watch. And what I think is going to be really interesting is to actually be able to tell you guys with a number how many calories I'm burning in a day and how many calories I burn with each specific activity or sport that I do. Good morning. It's our first day back in Paris after our week of vacation. And I think no one is going to be surprised by today's results. I think I've definitely gained a little bit of weight. That being said, I don't think you can reverse 9 weeks of change and of weight loss in 1 week of vacation with minimal vegetables and minimal exercise. But yeah, I definitely do feel a change within myself. And I actually have my first workout tonight, like back into my workout routine. So it'll be interesting to see how my cardio is. But yeah, last weigh-in, I was at 158. Let's see where we are today. I'm at 158 on the dot. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely am very surprised by the fact that I've maintained the same weight week over week. I definitely thought there was gonna be a bigger impact on my weight from the lack of exercise, the less nutritious food, the higher levels of junk food. So yeah, I'm surprised, but I guess happy, pleasantly surprised, you could say. And I also definitely feel way more motivated to go into next week, just because as nice as it is to relax, enjoy the junk food, enjoy the vacation, you do get to a point where it's like, okay, enough is enough. I want to be active. I want to move my body. I want a salad. And I definitely hit that point a couple days ago. So I'm excited and motivated for next week for sure. Welcome to my week 13. I started the week out as per usual by prepping chopped veg and fruits for ready-to-go snacks. For breakfast, I had the tiramisu overnight oats a few times, and I had some of Jean's mom's jam on toast. She sent us home with a jar, and I don't know how I'll be able to go on once it's gone. I also made a broccoli and cheddar cheese omelet one morning as well. My lunches were pretty varied. I had the cottage cheese flatbread sandwich one day. On a few other days, I had a cordon bleu with different veggies and fruits. One lunch, Jean made me my favorite chicken salad, and 2 days I made Greek, so chicken, eggplant, and potatoes with tzatziki, and then I also had a mixed plate of veggies, quinoa crackers, and sardines. For our dinners, we made the feta and tomato sauce with pasta, and I normally swap the pasta out for cauliflower, but I forgot to put it on the grocery list, and this sucked so much. Okay, so I'm just getting my walk-in after dinner, but I really wanted to document how I feel after eating pasta with our feta tomato chicken dish that we normally make, which I normally eat with cauliflower, but I forgot to buy cauliflower, so I had pasta instead. And I feel like I have about 75,000 rocks in my stomach. I can't remember the last time I felt so uncomfortable after eating dinner. So yeah, will not be doing again. Cauliflower for life. Better dinners included this girl dinner, which was a random assortment of foods that I was craving, like rillettes and toast, olives, chips, charcuterie, baby bells, and raw veggies. Jean made his cucumber salad a few times as well. Once we had it with a rice noodle stir fry, and another night I just had it with some quinoa crackers and cream cheese. And not only did I go out for dinner a few times, but I went out for pizza specifically twice, and I also had a couple beers with my pizza each time. We also had takeout one night with dumplings and different veggie salads. I had so many snacks this week. I had some fruit like cherries, grapes, cantaloupe, and watermelon, crunchy soybeans, candied peanuts, and a chocolate wafer, toasted jam, mini Oreos, iced coffee, a white chocolate Reese's Pieces, and I also prepped some fruit skewers and protein balls for my basketball team. These protein balls are so good, and they're slowly becoming a staple in my diet. All right, so I had boxing in 1 hour. I wanted to whip up a quick batch of these protein balls that I'm obsessed with. They taste so good, they give you a little energy boost, and they definitely help you with digestion, which is nice. I don't have a food processor, so instead of mixing everything all together, I'm going to mix up the dry ingredients in my blender, and then I'll combine them with the wet ingredients in a bowl. But I think if you have a food processor, you can do it all in one. So dry ingredients include half a cup of oats, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, 1/3 of a cup of ground flaxseed. I think you can buy flaxseed meal in the grocery store. I just buy the whole flax seeds and then I blend it up in my coffee grinder. I have 2 different grinder components for the coffee grinder. So one I use it for flax seeds, one I use for coffee beans. Yeah, this is just the coffee grinder that I use. And this is the flaxseed component. And so when you grind it all up, it looks like this. So you're gonna add 1/3 cup, 1/3 of a cup. And then the last 2 parts of our dry ingredients are almond powder and shredded coconut. And essentially I just take the 1/3 of a cup measuring cup And I fill half with the almond powder and then half with the shredded coconut. So that's the almond powder with the shredded coconut. And that's it. Those are your dry ingredients, so we can blend everything together. And then the wet ingredients are super simple. You're gonna start with half a cup of peanut butter. I use natural peanut butter. The label says 100% peanuts. I can feel myself rushing and making a mess. I don't even want to look at my stress levels on my watch because I'm so worried that I won't make it to my class on time. Next, we have a 1/4 cup of sweetener. So you can either use honey, or mostly I use honey, but I do want to try it this time around with maple syrup because generally I prefer the taste of maple syrup, and also organic honey is pricey as hell. Organic honey sourced in France is pricey. And then the last wet ingredient is just vanilla. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You can mix that all together and then add in your dry ingredients. It's so thick, it's like getting an arm workout in before my workout. It's also like 30 something degrees in Paris. So just breathing makes you overheat. Never mind mixing something by hand. All right, so this is pretty much what your dough looks like. And you're literally just going to roll it into small little balls and then stick it in the fridge for, I would say, at least 30 minutes. And then if I have time, I'll also melt dark chocolate and drizzle a little bit on top, but I don't have time, so I won't be doing that, but you can make them extra fancy that way. Voila. So the recipe makes about 10 protein balls. I'm just gonna pop them in the fridge and hopefully they'll be cool by the time I head out for boxing. Now, when it comes to physical activity this week, I did so much, and not just that, but the workouts were really, really intense because we kind of had a heat wave in Paris last week, and so I really cannot remember another time when my workouts felt so hard on my body or when I left the gym completely, and I mean completely drenched in sweat. So they were great, but they were tough. And I actually wore my fitness watch, so I can give you guys all the juicy details. I played a lot of basketball this week and actually entered a 3v3 tournament with my friends. And here are my stats from my basketball practice, which honestly was the absolute hottest I think I've ever been in my life. You can see that I burned about 650 calories, but the watch didn't really do such a great job of tracking the actual distance that I ran and at which speed, so that was a little bit disappointing. I did both a boxing class and a Muay Thai class this week as well. Now, the first class, I tracked only the class itself, which was about an hour, and I burned 360 calories. The second class, I forgot to stop my watch until I got home, and I actually walked to and from boxing class, which is about 30 minutes each way. So this one actually includes my class and my walk home, which was about 650 calories total. I also did an ab and arm class twice this week, and the way this works is there's a butt, thigh, and ab class that's 30 minutes, followed by an arms, back, and shoulder class, which is another 30 minutes. So I normally combine these two classes and I do it twice a week. And the first class as well as the second class are about 200 calories burned each time. So every time I do these hour-long workouts, it's about 400 calories burned. Another really fun activity that I did this week was a rock dancing class that I took with some friends. It was an hour-long lesson, and then you were free to dance as you liked after the class. And this was my very first time dancing rock, or at least that's what it's called in French. And I loved it so much. It was so much fun, but oh my gosh, I was so out of breath by the end of it. You wouldn't think that it's so physically exerting, but it really, really is. And I also kept on my walking every single day as well. One more thing that I want to mention about my workouts this week is that if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I have really serious scoliosis that causes me severe, often debilitating back pain. And that's one thing that I've noticed that I've been able to improve on this health journey, which is completely aligned with what my physiotherapist told me. He has always told me to not be afraid of my back. I have to use the muscles, I have to build the muscles in my back in order to alleviate the back pain. And it was striking, actually, how much my back pain was reduced over time, over the past 13 weeks by doing all of this physical activity. Specifically, the arm and the back classes I noticed really helped me with back pain. But the reason I'm bringing it up this week is that during week 12, when I was in Fura and I wasn't getting my exercise in, around day 5, I started to notice a return in the really, really piercing back pain. And it was so funny because I hadn't felt that pain in such a long time because I'd been so consistent with my workouts. But I thought it was worth mentioning that once I stopped doing all the workouts that were actually helping my body and helping my scoliosis, the back pain did come back. And now this week, once I've started to get back into the swing of things and I've gotten back into my workouts, I've noticed that every single day, the pain has gotten better to the point where now it's almost inexistent. So I did just want to share that if there's anyone else who is suffering with back pain or scoliosis, that truly the greatest solution that I have found in my entire life of having these back pains is to get a good amount of physical activity in, especially activity where you're using your arms, your shoulders, and your back. Good morning, you guys. Welcome to week 13 weigh-in. I am so excited for this one just because it's the first week where I've completely stopped counting calories, weighing my food, logging my food. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how that translates on my weight loss journey. And just as a reminder, I weighed in at 158 last week. $155.4. I'll also quickly add that my BMI dropped from 21.9 to 21.5, and my body fat percentage dropped as well from 22.8 to 22.2. All right, so that means that week over week, I've lost about 2.6 pounds, which I think makes sense because I was kind of stuck at 158 for a couple of weeks. But yeah, I feel good, I feel powerful, and most importantly, I feel like I know what I'm doing and I'm doing what's right for my body, which was the ultimate goal of this whole health journey. I think as well, it's really cool to be so close to my goal, which is 150 pounds. I'm like 5 pounds away, and it honestly feels so surreal because when you start at 177 like I did and you see all of the work and the weeks laid out in front of you, it's a very unreal feeling to finally be here and to see the results of all the hard work that you've put in. So I don't know, it's a really good feeling and I'm definitely very proud of myself. Now to recap the past couple weeks, I lost 0.5 pounds in week 10, 1.1 pounds in week 11, 0 pounds in week 12, and 2.6 pounds in week 13 for a total of 4.2 pounds lost between weeks 10 and 13. And this is definitely on par with pretty much every other part of this weight loss journey, like weeks 4 to 6 when I lost 4.4 pounds and weeks 7 to 9 when I lost 3.9 pounds. So you can see that I've been pretty consistent in the amount of weight that I'm losing every single week and every single part of this journey. In 13 weeks, I've managed to lose 21.6 pounds, weighing in at 155.4 pounds this week. And don't get me wrong, the weight loss is great. That was part of my goal. But the other integral part of this journey was to live a healthier and happier lifestyle. And what I'm most proud of in these past couple weeks is that I've been able to rely a lot less on the crutches that were MyFitnessPal and the scale, and they definitely served their purpose. I definitely appreciated them at the start of my journey because they helped me with the learning portion of what I should be eating and what portions I should be eating. And so it feels really good to be able to move on with this journey and the rest of my life without those two things as a support to be healthy, if that makes sense. And I've talked about this quite a lot, but prior to this weight loss journey, I was very much addicted to sugar and junk food, and I had absolutely no portion control. Like, it was scary. I think about this all the time because I wish I had documented what my diet was like before I started this health journey. But honestly, when I think about it, it scares me. And so it really is mind-blowing for me. It's almost unfathomable for me to be at this point, not just in weight loss, but also in health. And it makes me more proud than anything. So yeah, I'm very happy with where I am in my weight loss and health journey. And I'm also very grateful for you guys for coming along with me, because I think that's been a huge part of how I've been able to stay motivated and stay on track. I love to share this journey with you guys. I love to share experiences in the comments. And I really appreciate you guys coming along with me, because I don't know if I'd be here without you. And so on that note, I'll leave you guys here for the part 4 of my weight loss journey. I will see you guys on Monday as per usual on my second channel, and I'll be back in about 3 weeks for another check-in.